It's mailbag time here on NBA Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Earl Bennett kicking things off. Hashtag NBA. Are the Lakers good enough to repeat, or do they need to trade for a player? I do think adding a veteran shooter type makes a lot of sense for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think a Wayne Ellington, who's having a great year, the Lakers just saw him a couple of nights ago. I think that would make a lot of sense. He's leading the NBA in three-point shooting. I think J.J. Redick could be another player that the Lakers could target as well if they wanted to add a more experienced vet, a guy who's played in a lot of playoff games like J.J. Redick. You could obviously add some more defensive-minded guys as well, but when I think LeBron teams, I think building those type of rosters with a lot of shooters around him. So adding a piece like that I think makes sense. I don't think you'll get involved in a major trade like a Bradley Beal or something like that. I just don't think they can make the money work. But a cheap veteran shooter, yeah, that's what I'm looking for if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers. Super chat from Colin, appreciate you. Best way to get Lonzo to OKC? You trade for him. To speak the obvious. You know, when I think of the Thunder, I think you could just throw one of those first-round picks you have at the Pelicans, and they would take it. Maybe one of those lower-round ones, one that's going to be in the 20s. The Thunder have a ton of picks. I want to say it's something like 16 first-round picks over the next 5 or 6 years. They have a ton. Throw one to the Pelicans, they'll probably take it, honestly. So, and it doesn't have to be a high pick. Lonzo obviously went number 2 overall. I think if you trade a mid-late first, they'd probably take him straight up. Rashard Lee's next up with a Lakers question, hashtag NBA. Can the Lakers trade for Myles Turner? Tough to make it work. He makes about $20 million a year. You'd have to move Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I would think, in a trade for Myles Turner. Are you willing to do that? Maybe. If you want to get better at the center position, obviously Marc Gasol isn't great at this point. He provides spacing and leadership, but he doesn't actually bring as much to the table on the floor as a Myles Turner would. So that could be an option, but it would be tricky to make it work. Who will win the NBA title this year? Lakers won it last year, obviously. I want to know from you guys, which NBA team will win a championship in 2021? Will the Lakers repeat, or will another team win it? Go ahead, cast your votes in the comment section. Who wins the NBA championship in 2021? Gunna with the super chat. Do you think there are any trades the Heat can make, or do you think they'll wait till the offseason to do something? They definitely can do something because they have a lot of young assets. I think if they wanted to get involved in the Bradley Beal sweepstakes, Bam Adebayo probably has to be involved, so I don't know if they want to move him, but you've got pieces like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn. They've got some young players. The problem for the Heat is they can't trade a first-round pick until 2025, so it's going to have to be more player-focused if they pull off a trade before the NBA trade deadline. Big super chat from Casey Wood, $15. Appreciate that. Any Orlando Magic trade rumors? I think it's more about trading people away, quite frankly, for the Magic. Aaron Gordon continues to be linked to him. I think Vucevic, for the right cost, could get dealt as well. Those guys are always linked to trade rumors because Orlando continues to be stuck in the worst place. You're fighting for the 8 seed. You're never good enough to really contend, but you're not bad enough to bottom out and get like a top 3 or 4 picks. So they got to decide if they're going to remain committed to trying to win right now or if they want to commit to a rebuild. So we'll just have to wait and see. SG, will Steph Curry surpass Ray Allen as the number 1 3-point shooter? Pretty sure he's well on pace to do that, so I would expect him to do that. If he plays another 4 or 5 years at a good level, which I think he will, is having another good season this year, then yeah, I think he will easily break that record and probably shatter it when it's all said and done. Steph Curry, for my money, is the best shooter in NBA history. NBA Productions, hashtag NBA. Warriors get Bradley Beal for Andrew Wiggins. Top 3 protected pick, 2021 first and 2022 second. That Minnesota pick, obviously, is going to be very valuable for the Warriors. I don't think that's enough. A top 3 pick and a second plus Wiggins for Beal. I don't think they really want Wiggins. I know money-wise you could throw him in there. I think you'd have to throw another future first in, honestly. I think it's going to take at least 2 firsts to get Beal at the end of the day. Good question. You're sort of in the ballpark, but I think more firsts, if not 2 firsts, is going to be what it takes. Andrew Gutierrez on our NBA mailbag. Do you think the Kings would make or receive any trades this season? Maybe they move pieces away. Maybe they can get someone to take on Harrison Barnes' contract. The Kings have committed a lot of money, and they haven't been able to win. So, they're going to keep De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, they gave him that supermax. Try to build around him. I would see if I can move Barnes. I thought that was weird when they traded for him and then paid him what they did. He's an okay player, but I don't think he's a long-term piece there for Sacramento. Other than that, I think they just got to hope they can improve because I don't see them swaying any big names to come to Sacramento, at least right now. I want to hear it from you guys in the comments section. Shout out your favorite team. Let's hear it right now. Maybe you're a Lakers fan. Maybe you're a Celtics fan, Miami Heat fan, whatever it is. Shout out your favorite team. I want to hear it from you guys in the comments section. Who is your favorite team in the NBA? And the reason I ask is because we have team-specific YouTube channels. We got a Lakers channel, a Mavs channel, a Warriors channel, and a Celtics channel. We're trying to grow these channels all the time. YouTube.com/LakersTV is our Lakers channel. Our Warriors channel is YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. Mavericks channel is YouTube.com/MavsTV. And our Celtics channel is YouTube.com/CelticsTV. We'll make sure all these links are in the description of this video, and you can go subscribe to those channels. Just wanted to inform you guys that we do cover these 4 NBA teams more closely, and we're always looking to expand our NBA coverage. So subscribe to those channels. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Who knows? Your favorite team could be next. Mikey Maverick, next up on the show. What type of player do the Mavs need to help Luka? This is a good question, and I think something the Mavs are going to have to really look at themselves and try to figure out. Now, they have had a lot of COVID issues this season, but now those players are starting to come back, the Josh Richardsons, the Dorian Finney-Smiths, the Maxi Klebas of the world. But if the winning doesn't start coming soon in the next month or so, I think you could look for Mark Cuban to be aggressive at the trade deadline to try to take a swing at a big-time player. Maybe it's a Bradley Beal. Maybe it's a player like a Kyle Lowry, a veteran who's won with the Toronto Raptors. Maybe they swing at Victor Oladipo. I think the type of player that makes sense to help Luka, secondary playmaker. The ball is constantly in his hands, and at times he's gassed come fourth quarter time. Like, you got to take some pressure off him. KP's a great player, but it's not like he's bringing the ball up and down the court. I guess secondary playmaker for Luka and the Mavs really needs to happen at some point. Mark White, how about Aaron Gordon to the Mavs? Sticking with the Mavericks here. Like JJ, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a couple of second-round picks. Maybe just throw in Maxey. I don't know who you mean by JJ. Barea's not on the team. James Johnson, right. Maybe that's enough. Gordon may not fetch a one at this point. I'd hate to give up Dorian Finney-Smith to get Aaron Gordon. I'm not super high on Gordon. I would rather give up I'd maybe rather give up Josh Richardson, honestly, because Dorian's cheaper. I like the idea, especially if you don't have to give up a future first, but we'll see. I don't think Gordon's the exact fit that makes sense for Dallas. Mike Rowland, how do the Sixers get Bradley Beal? If you're watching live, we're going to go through some Bradley Beal trade destinations, so we'll kind of talk about it further then. I'll just say this, though. Ben Simmons is the centerpiece of that trade, if that happens. Very simple. GB card openings. Any Blazers trade rumors? Not really. I mean, the Blazers are, middle. They're 5th or 6th in the West right now as we're filming this. Obviously, that can change based on when you watch this. I think they're probably a stand pat type of team. I don't think they'll split up Dame and CJ or anything like that this year. They're a good team. I don't think they're a title contending team, but they don't have a lot of cap flexibility, so I don't really look at them as a team to be super aggressive before the NBA trade deadline. Speaking of trade rumors, you guys continue to ask, so name a player you want to see get traded. Maybe you want Bradley Beal to get traded. Maybe you want someone like Kawhi Leonard to get traded. I don't think it'll happen, but let me know what you guys think. Name a player in the NBA you would like to see get traded. Danny Green, I know you're always watching. You bricking any threes recently? Do you think the Celtics should go after Myles Turner? Yes. The Celtics need a legit big. Been saying it for months. I think they should go out and get a guy like Myles Turner, even a guy like Kevin Love, somebody that can help score from down low. Like Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice, they're okay players, but they're not going to get you over the hump. They can't defend legitimate bigs. That's a big-time problem. Myles Turner leads the NBA in blocks, and he can space the floor offensively. I think that would be a great fit in Boston. JT Brown, how good are the Cavs really? They're exciting. I don't know how good they are. The Nets are still figuring things out. I know the Cavs beat them a couple of times recently. I think they could battle for one of those final playoff spots in the East. I think that could be a possibility. I'm not convinced they're a legitimate contender or anything like that. But, hey, if you're competing for the 8 seed this year, that's pretty good progress if you're the Cavaliers. Got another Celtics question here from Bob the Pickle. Beal to the Celtics for Smart and 3 firsts. Man, that's a lot. But I might consider that, honestly. Now, you can't underwrite how much Marcus Smart means to that basketball team from a defensive and a leadership standpoint. But if you add Bradley Beal to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, you're going to score 120 points a game. The defense is going to slip without Marcus Smart, but Celtics are already a pretty defensive-minded team, so you might be able to get away with that. I'd like it better if it was only 2 firsts and Smart, but you could maybe talk me into it there. Batman, #NBA, do you think the Bucks would make any trades before the deadline? I've seen people throw out, what if the Bucks could get Bradley Beal? You'd have to get rid of Middleton or Drew Holiday. I guess I'd probably take Beal over both those guys, but I don't know if you're upgrading a ton if you replace Chris Middleton with Bradley Beal. Maybe you are a little bit, but we'll see. I'll say this: Giannis has got to become a better free throw shooter. He's got to close out games better. I think they just got what they got, and they got to be able to win with what they have. Steph Curry, do the Rockets still make the playoffs? I don't think so, but I have been impressed with how they've played since they traded James Harden. Mavs 88. How about trading Kristaps Porzingis or keeping him? The Mavs aren't trading KP. Things would have to go really bad for 2 seasons for them to trade him. He keeps getting injured, or all of a sudden his play dips. God forbid Luka wants out, so they just blow the whole thing up. I don't think that's even a thought that's crossed Donnie Nelson or Mark Cuban's mind. They are not trading Kristaps Porzingis. You already know, who do the Clips trade for D. Rose? Maybe how do the Clips trade for him? He's got a pretty team-friendly contract. Maybe you send... I'm trying to think. You're not going to send one of your top guy. You're not going to send Lou Williams for him. Draft picks, maybe? Would the Pistons take a future first that's going to be late in the first round for D. Rose? Maybe they would do that. I would try to do that if I were the Clippers. Otherwise, I don't think it's very likely.